Hey everybody, it's Abby with Creative at Home, and today we are going to paint together. Today's painting is our Turtle Beach painting, and I'm excited to paint with you on this. Um, if you purchased a kit from me, you should have everything you need, and we'll go ahead and get started. So just a few things. Um, if you're watching this video and you don't have a kit, we'll go through the supplies. But if you do have a kit, you'll have, like I said, everything you need. But we'll also, the benefit of having this video is if I paint faster or slower than you do, feel free to pause, rewind, or do anything like that. And then you can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram to if you have any questions. So Creative at Home Art on both of those platforms. And thank you for painting with me. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll go ahead and switch my screen over and we'll get started. Have fun. Alright, we're going to go ahead and go over our supplies. Got my screen switched over to let you see my workspace. The first colors that I have paint dispensed are white, brown, black, and blue. And then over to the side I have just some other colors: red, orange, purple, green, and yellow. I have my canvas. This painting is done in the portrait section there. And I have brushes. So I have 4 different brushes for this painting. I have my 3/4 inch wash brush. It's a rectangular brush. You can also use a sponge painting or any kind of larger shaped brush. I have a 1/4 inch flat brush and a small round detail brush, as well as a larger round brush here. So those are the brushes that I'm going to be using. I have my water cup and my paper towel. I use a knife to mix my colors. You're welcome to use your brushes as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started mixing our first color. We're going to mix a sand color. So I'm going to mix a decent amount of this color because it's going to be used for the background. So I'm going to pull some white over, and it's going to be about half white, half yellow. So I'm just going to dispense some yellow into that, and then 2 little dots of brown. Okay, so I want to have kind of a lighter tan sandy color here, and you'll see that'll come together pretty quickly. And you can always add more white or more yellow if you don't like the color, so or more brown. I feel like this might need just a little bit more brown here. I want it to be a little bit tanner versus just yellow. Okay, so this is going to be the majority of our background here. So we're going to go ahead and use that wash brush, the big one. I'm going to put some straight yellow on here too. I'm going to go ahead and use this brush and use that sand color to go ahead and paint everything but about the last 2 inches, the top 2 inches of this canvas. Okay, so it's mostly beach with a little bit of water, and then we'll add some detailing in there. If you would like to, you can go ahead and paint your edges if you feel like you're going to display this without a frame. I display a lot of my paintings without frames just for simplicity's sake. But you can go ahead and paint your edges as well. So go ahead and get this done. And then while we're painting it, we're going to blend in some browns and some yellows to add some dimension and interest to our beach. So get this all the way covered. Get my edges. Okay. There we go. Make sure I've got it all. And then without washing my brush out, I'm just gonna grab some bits of brown, small amounts of paint, and just kind of add some streaks that are kind of rough and squiggled, and then you can go back through and spread that around a little. The key is to do this when the paint is still wet, so that you can blend it. So if you wait till this dries, it will just paint over the acrylic. So that's great for fixing mistakes and things you don't want on there, but when you want it to blend like we do now, you want to do it while it's wet. So, and you can also come back and add a little bit more white to that sand and yellow and add some lighter highlights as well. Let's finish with the brown here. And kind of go off the canvas a little so it doesn't just stop when you get to the edge. Go ahead and get some different colors and let it blend through. Just add some interest to that sand. So you can see the white and the yellow kind of blends together with the sand color. And if you can even do like a half brown and half light yellow and let it kind of blend. Okay. And get some up here. Some more brown down here. So once you're happy with the dimensions in your sand, we can go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, so as this video is going, and if I'm painting faster or slower than you, you know, you got controls of the video here, so pause me if it's too fast, and if not, that's fine too. Okay, so next we're gonna use we're gonna mix another color over here, and we are gonna mix some aqua color. So we're gonna use a little bit of, we're gonna first make like a little bit of a navy blue color. So that's a pretty obviously a pretty dark blue. So I can scoot this over just a little, give myself another little bit more room so we can do some blue. And black is very hard to take out once you put it in. So just start with a little bit of black and see what that gets you from a navy standpoint. You can see how dark it gets, so how quickly. Okay, so now we have our navy, and to add that, I'm gonna lighten it back up with my white paint and just a little bit of the yellow to make it kind of a greenish color. Okay, color mixing was the hardest thing for me to kind of get a handle on when I first started painting, and it's taken me months to kind of get an understanding of how the colors work and what I want them to do. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow to this. I want to brighten it up. I want it a little bit greener before we start painting that ocean. Okay. There we go. Okay. Actually, I think I want a little bit more yellow. We're gonna really green this up. Okay, so now I think we're good. We're going to rinse out that same wash brush that we used. And we're going to paint this top section here, and we're going to want to overlap that sand color so that it looks better, and we can take the coastline however we would like it. So okay, so we'll get that yellow out of there. Alright, so I'm going to grab my aqua color, and I'm going to paint my canvas up at the top. Okay. I'm just covering that top section there. Okay, so now I can decide kind of where my coastline is going to be, and then I'll fill that in. So we're going to have it come down, just kind of sketch how I want this to go here, and then I just kind of fill that in to overlap that sand. Okay, so you just gonna want to be careful up to that line. And just kind of keep going like that. And just make sure your stuff is all covered. There we go. Alright, and if you decide you want to add some depth to that, you can kind of grab some different colors off your palette and do the same thing to the water that you did with the sand. So you can add some twists and turns in the ocean. Okay. Alright. Okay. So we've got some darker sections. And then the last thing we do before we're going to take a short break to let our canvas dry is to rinse our brush and grab just some plain white paint. And we're going to just, you don't want to get a whole lot, so this is just very small amount. And we're just going to start adding some white caps here to the edge. Okay, and that water is going to kind of blend together like that, but we want it to, right, let it kind of mix together at the end there. And then I'm going to actually grab some more just white and add some of those details. Back in, because I want it to be kind of white as well. And you can kind of add some of those through up in there. If you don't like that, you can just take it out. Feather that out, and then just, so we're gonna break here. We're gonna pause the video and restart. We've got to get this canvas completely dry before we start on those cute turtles. So we'll go ahead and take a break. If you want to speed the process up, a blow dryer works wonderfully. If not, enjoy your little break, let your canvas dry, and we'll be right back for the next video or the next section. Alright, we're back and dry. We're going to start on these turtles. So the turtle we're going to outline using our white paint, and we're going to shoot for 5 turtles. All of their heads are going to be facing the ocean because they're trying to get to the ocean here. And so I'm going to start by just painting our first guy here. And our first guy is going to, all of our turtle shells are going to be kind of a pointed oval shape like this, okay, with the flat center or flat top. And you can make it fatter if you don't like it skinny. So I'm just gonna kind of sketch these 5 turtle shells in, and then we'll start adding more of the bodies, and then we'll work on the colors. So this painting, you can be very creative with the colors that you have. It's kind of a lot about mixing colors. Here's my first body. So, you know, you don't have to do what I do. If you don't want to do the colors I use, then you kind of do your own thing. Okay, get that second turtle in there. Okay, I think I forgot to mention the brush I'm using for this. I'm using that 1/4 inch flat brush, but you really want to use, when you're painting, you really want to use whatever brush you're comfortable using. So, you know, you just kind of, you've got to just trust your gut and do what you want to do. It's art. There's no exact science for it, so. And if you get one where you don't like the shape, um, you just give it a minute, let it dry. If you have some of that leftover sand color, you can paint over the white once it's dried and redo them. Okay, so don't stress too much about it. So there's 3 of them, and I think I'm gonna put one guy over here. Okay. And the last one will kind of go off the canvas when you're doing it, but you still want to kind of think about the shape so that he looks, or she. We'll kind of start it here. And these turtles will be overlapping each other, so it'll all work out. Okay, so those are our 5 bodies. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to work on the heads. And that is going to be kind of the same shape as the oval, as the body that we did, but with the straight edge towards the body. So you can see it's just the opposite direction of that same oval with a flat side shape. One side flat and one side pointed. And then we'll work on putting them together. Okay. So you can see this guy is going to overlap the other turtle. So we'll have to kind of remember how his head goes. And soon we'll have a bunch of overlapping flippers and all kinds of things to contend with here. So we'll just Yeah. Okay, so now we do have the flippers. So the flippers, we're gonna do they can come right out of here, and we're gonna just do an arch like that, and then a squiggled line back. Okay, so it goes arch, and then just kind of a squiggled line. There we go. Okay. There we go. And they don't have to go in the same direction because they're walking. And just kind of keep going with those flippers. Okay. There we go. Last guy for flippers, and then we'll end up with we need back legs. Okay. All right. So there are our little turtles. For the back legs, we are gonna do small ovals, and you want them to be kind of above this pointed section here, because the tail is going to come down, and these are on the sides. They're not and not exactly on the bottom there. And so that one just has a partial foot. Overlapping. So I like to kind of just sketch them out so that I get an idea of where they're all supposed to go once I am painting the colors. Okay. And then this last one won't have legs on the canvas. Okay, so then you see the little point for the tail. And then we're just going to kind of start attaching these heads. To the bodies. And make sure you like the shapes. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to make a little bit of gray, and we're going to use one of our round brushes, the larger of the two. We're going to start doing some outlines. So I'm going to make, actually I'm probably just going to make this much gray. Just kind of dip my brush in the black and start working on the shell hexagons. Okay. So I'm going to use the larger of the two of my brushes, my round brushes. And we're going to start adding details to these turtle shells. We're going to end up going over this with the colors and with a black outline afterwards, but this will just give you an idea of where to do that. So the shell is going to follow that outline there. And then I'm actually going to switch to my smaller brush here. You can add that shape in there. So if you start in the center and then just kind of go out from it, it'll put that design right in there for you. Okay, so let's do the next one and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to sketch the outline of the shell with my brush. Okay, and this one is going to have a flipper over it, so we're going to let that go. Make that a little rounded. Okay, so I have the shell, and then in the center I'm going to do my hexagon shape. Okay, and then you can just go straight out from each corner. And it'll make that shell shape. Okay, let's try it again. So draw the bottom. Okay. And again, this doesn't have to be exact, because one, turtles are not exact in nature. And two, you can paint over, this is just kind of a guide for you to paint in your colors. So when we start mixing up all those fun different colors, you can be very creative. So okay. And just kind of keep going. And then this one, same thing, we'll have to kind of kick it off the edge of the canvas, but alright, so now we have all of our turtle shells. Okay, so what we're going to do is start working on, I'm going to let this dry just a little bit and we can start mixing some of our colors. And we're going to think about each turtle in the terms of two colors. So if you want to have a red and orange turtle, or a hot pink and coral turtle, we can make some different colors here. So we're gonna go ahead and put some red here, and we don't need much because you can see we'll do some orange. Okay, we've got yellow, we'll do some purple, we've got blue, and we'll do a little green. Okay, so we can do a hot pink by just doing a dot of white in with the yellow, with the red, lighten that up just a little. Alright, get that going. And again, you don't need much of these colors, so if somebody mixes one and the other, you guys are painting together, just you can use very small amounts of color because you're not going to need a whole lot of it. We can do a coral color, so some red, some yellow, and a little bit of white. And get a fun corally color here. And then we can do lighter yellow, with a little bit of white. You can do the same thing with some orange. Lighten that up a little. Just make it fun. You can do a lime green, so green, a little bit of yellow, and if you want it lighter than that, just throw a little bit of white in there. Just have fun with it. Okay, we need a little more yellow in our lime. Okay. And then you can do a blue and a green. You could use the same aqua color, or you can use this blue and green together. Lighten that up so that's in kind of the same color palette. Maybe a little yellow. Okay. And then you could do maybe a darker purple with some red. Darker purple. Alright, so we've got some colors to have fun with our turtles. I feel like we need some lighter yellow here. Yep, that turned green. There we go. We're just going to have fun with this, whatever color it turns into. Okay, so we are just gonna kind of start painting these turtles and mixing it up and having a good time with it. Okay, so let's see, that first turtle we can make that pink color, and we're just gonna paint over that white color. So if you think about the colors that you have, you'll do kind of complementary or contrasting colors for each turtle. So just paint around the shell. Just have fun with this and then mix it up on the piece. Now I've got an overlapping flipper here, so I want to make sure I paint around that flipper. Okay. So here's our first turtle. And we can add, once we've got kind of a base color down for it, we can start adding some accents. So I don't know if I want to do some purple in here. Get him all painted in. And then just kind of look and say, okay, so we'll do maybe a little bit of purple on the bottom here. And you can kind of blend that. Okay. Just kind of adding those details in. For each turtle, and then we can paint the and if you feel more comfortable using a smaller brush, you can. Oops, dry it off first. Whoops. Nothing like, you can add some details there. Just kind of make it good, and then you can start blending it together, and then we'll outline with black paint. So we'll just keep. Okay. Okay. And then if you decide to get a little crazy, you can add some other colors in here. That's complementary. Blend it in. I'm using the light orange. Throw some more coral in there. Okay, so there's my first turtle. And if you want to, you can use some kind of details that might make it a little bit more complementary. So I used red, and now I'm going to kind of shade with some green, which is it's the opposite of the color wheel. So it looks really, really kind of interesting and fun. Okay, so now we'll start on that next turtle. Pick your kind of base color. Mine will be this teal color. Just kind of paint this in. So I feel much better. I switched to a smaller brush, and I feel like I have a little bit more control. So I also like to choke up on the brushes and hold them like a pencil. It helps you with your detail work very much. So my contrasting or fun color that I'm going to use for this one, we can use some of this lighter green. And bring that down. Blend it together. So this guy's going to be over the top of that one. That's the only thing you kind of have to pay attention to here is who's on top. Because you don't want somebody's flipper to be underneath someone's whose head. It's just a big tangle of turtles. So you want to avoid a tangle of turtles if all possible. And again, just kind of using those complementary colors to add some fun streaks in there. Alright, get those bodies. Okay. so I'm going to do my center with that contrasting color. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and add maybe some of this coral into the shell to just add some fun here to these little guys. And you can go back to that dark green. However you like. You can add okay, and it'll all start to pop once you get this black outline in. Alright, so we have this turtle, and we can add some contrasting stuff with this coral color that we used. Okay, there's our second turtle. I feel like we need a blue turtle here. So we're going to use just some regular blue, and we'll see where that goes. Might mix some on the fly here on the turtle. Add some green to it. Get kind of a so I'm just kind of dipping my brush in both green and blue at the same time, and kind of like the color, so we're gonna go with it. And okay, so we're gonna skip that section because that's the next turtle's head. Okay, this last flipper. So from a contrasting interesting color. Let's see. We'll use a little bit of just plain yellow for this one. Squirt some out. And if I want to, I just blend some white in there. Okay. And we can add some, maybe this orange. Just have fun with these turtles. Right. Oops. Whoops. Okay. So we've got that turtle. I feel like we need to have a purple turtle. And then maybe, yeah, we need some less green and kind of go into purple. Keep painting our turtles. And this is a fun painting. I have been wanting, this one's been on my list to do for a while. It's cute. So, finally we have a video. I feel like this one's good for families because you can paint lots of details, or the kids can paint small amounts of details. It's just a really fun piece. And they can do turtles that are all spread out, so they don't have to worry about the overlap, all that stuff. So for our purple turtle, we'll do accents of that fuchsia or hot pink. Okay. There we go. keep going. Get some of these painted in here. We can add more details once everything's painted. Okay. And then with this one, we can add some just different details there. Okay. And then our last turtle, we can do I think we're gonna do a yellow turtle. Make some more pale yellow. Some water coming out of my brush. Gets stuck up in the grip. Okay. Okay. Get this guy done. Alright. We can add some fun green. And then maybe some blue. And then we can add some fun coral. There we go. Okay, so then we can just kind of add this stuff in here. We're getting down to the home stretch here, painting these turtles. And then add some details and some eyes, and these guys will really start to pop. Okay. Throw some blue in this one. And add maybe, I don't know, maybe some orange to this one. Just kind of mix it up. Yeah, this will be good. Alright, so we've got our turtles. So we're going to take another little dry break, and then we'll start adding the last minute details and everything we need. Okay? Alright, we're all dry from our turtles and we're ready to do our last bit of detail work. Okay, so we're gonna start working with the black paint, and we're just gonna start outlining over around these areas where we had the shell. Okay, so I'm using very small amounts of paint on my brush. You can see it's very small, and then I'm just gonna kind of draw those hexagonal shapes that we have in here, that we had that gray spot there. And we're just going to trace back over those to add some of the details back in. You can see how it starts to come back alive there. Okay. And you can also kind of detail around the mouth up here. And then you can add some ovals right on the edge for some eyes. Right there for each turtle. Okay, and we'll add some more details with white to make those eyes pop a little bit more. Alright, so we're just going to go back through and do each shell. Go through here. Do the same thing for this guy. There we go. Alright, and paying attention again to that over or under on the flippers. Adding some detail, shadowing, and that eyeball. There. Okay. And just keep going. Again, I'm holding my brush pretty much like a pencil. I'm real close to the edge so that I can really control it. using small amounts of paint to make sure that I am not globbing on a lot of stuff here. So the less paint the better. And then you can look kind of at your detailing and see if you want to add some more colors, or if the way you've got it is the way you want it. Okay, so we'll just go through here. These cute little baby turtles. Hopefully they are all going to make it safely. At this point, they're very close. And you can see, even with the addition of the eyes, those turtles really start to pop out. And we'll add some more details as we go, and they'll pop even more. Okay, give them these eyes here. Okay, so we have our turtles all painted in with their eyes. You can add some shadowing in underneath their flippers. Here, just little bits, just to make it, give it some shadowing and excuse me, make it stand out just a little bit more. And we can do that. Alright, so now we're going to switch to some white paint, and also think about whether there are spots where I might want to add some more details. Like, I think this turtle probably needs a little bit more excitement, so I'm just going to kind of add some contrasting colors to him, and make him a little bit more exciting. Just feel like he needs a little bit of excitement there. Excuse me. And then you can just start going through with some white as well, and you can add some details on the part between the shell and the edge. And then I can use the hard end of my brush here, and I'm going to use that to dot some eyes here. Okay, so we're just going to give them some eyes. use that same technique if you want to add some details on that one. That. Okay. And then you can use some other colors to just keep adding some contrast and excitement. Okay, so I feel like I like my turtles the way they are. If you want your turtles, this is where you get to have fun with doing what you have. And then the last thing I'm going to do is pick up some more of my sand color and add some marks here for where they're going through behind their flippers, where they're going through the sand. So some tracks, just kind of so they roughen up that sand, they leave those little tracks there. Just kind of making sure that it looks like they're moving right along to safety. Hopefully they don't become someone's breakfast. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with where I am. The last thing you can do if you choose to is sign your artwork. I like to sign mine just with a Sharpie pen. And I sign it down here with my initials. There we go. Okay, so thank you so much for painting with me. The Turtle Beach painting. My name is Abby again with Creative at Home, and lots of different videos on my YouTube channel, as well as kits available for purchase either through my Etsy shop, Creative at Home Art, or my website, Creative at Home Art as well, creativeathomeart.com. So please like and subscribe to this channel, and share this with your friends, and share your artwork with me at #creativeathomeart.com as well. Thanks for painting with me. Enjoy.